In other belated gaming news, man, I hope I remember to put this one after the new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe one, but if I didn't, sorry.
Welcome to What's the Deal with Sam? Starring Sam Lilly. Join Sam as he discusses a wide variety of topics.
Bandmail.
Now let's start the show.
Thank you. What's the deal with the PlayStation Classic? It's like the NES Classic Edition with the ground. I'm sure everybody's heard about it by now. It was announced a while ago. I recorded a episode about it when it was first announced, and I waited so long that my point about us not knowing what games are on it is now it's moot. The point is downright moot, I say. Twice, I guess. Where they now have announced the game list, and it sucks. Everybody knows already. That's probably gives a shit about this. You didn't come here for that information first. That wasn't your news source. Okay, I'm not an idiot in regards to thinking that, you think I'm a source of news. The thing is, this thing was announced a while ago, and they talked about a few games, and mainly the only one that people really gave that much of a shit about was probably Final Fantasy VII. That was the big one they got for it. Pretty damn important game for that system, especially. They had some other cool ones on there and whatever, but they kind of left some mystery there. And there's a lot of good games on the PlayStation. There's a ton of them. In fact, I'm sure there's like a ton of your favorites that would have never even been on here anyways, and you still are like, well, there's probably other stuff that's, just as good, or in a general sense for general audiences, probably better, then those will probably be on there. That's probably why the ones I want aren't going to be on there. And the list came out, and it was like, that's it? Those are your classic games? Those are your big ones? And like, they're not all terrible. There's good ones on there. I think there's like a Metal Gear Solid on there. They got one of those. They got in one of them, and then there's Tekken, that was already announced, but you got Tekken, I guess. I don't know. They have a few. They have a few on there where you're like, yeah, those should be on there. Those are good. Then they got a bunch of weird ones you probably didn't even hear about. There's games on here that I've never heard of, and I know that's like not saying a whole lot because I'm not a big PlayStation guy. I'm not like, I have the PlayStation and I love it. I never had the original PlayStation, so it's like I didn't have tons of games for that even once I got a PS2. But you would think that if you're trying to appeal to the people with the classics, the things that people remember, other people would have heard about them too. The two biggest ones that are missing are Crash and Spyro. No fucking Crash, no fucking Spyro. Like, the only thing that makes any sense there is the idea that maybe the redone trilogies that are coming out for those, or collections or whatever, like the one that came out for Crash and the one that's coming out for Spyro, or by the time this video goes out, who knows, maybe it will be out, I don't know. But like, maybe it's the thing of like, they don't want to like give away those games there when they're trying to sell the remakes of them. But I think they're putting a Street Fighter on there, and they've got Street Fighter stuff for sale, a Street Fighter 2 thing, so I don't know if that's true. If I can, like, also, why not look at it as an advertisement? Here's a Crash game. Here is a Spyro game. The original versions of them. Get the remastered collection so you can play the other ones. You can't have at least one of either of those. I'm pretty sure you could probably buy a Metal Gear Solid game also at this point too in other ways, but it's like, no, we're still going to put that on there. We need to put that on there. I'm sure there's going to be a remake of Final Fantasy VII. They're going to remake that, and they're still putting that on there, so what the fuck? Like, that's just a weird thing where the people with the rights to Crash and Spyro are like, yeah, we don't play ball that way. I don't know, it doesn't make any sense unless Sony couldn't get the rights or didn't want to shell out the money for the rights for those. I really don't know. Point is, you kind of need those on there because they're pretty goddamn big for the system too, especially for the time. Those are some real big nostalgia pullers that you don't have. You don't have them. I mean, I know Nintendo's lucky and then they own all the shit that they put on there pretty much. A couple of the other things are like, we don't really have those, but either they could get them or like, either they could get those things or they really don't need them because they have enough of other things, I guess. And like, I thought the N64 Classic Edition idea was going to be a disaster. You know, it's like, it's bound to be disappointing. But this shit, did they try? Do they really want this to? Or are they just cashing in on this? I don't know. I don't know if it's a failure or if it's just cheapness. I don't know. I don't know if to feel angry or sad. And that leaves me mostly feeling like I don't care. Like, besides, we're even getting away from this fact that there's other shit they could have put on there, too. Like, even from shit that I don't even know, that probably should be on there. I think a couple other things, like, you know, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Why isn't that on there? That'd be an easy one to throw on there, but it's got a lot of people interested in it, especially, like, again, there's, I guess, a thing coming out with that on there as well, so maybe Konami was like, we're not going to do that. We're just going to sell it ourselves, we're not going to put it on there. I don't know. The other thing I thought was really strange too is because, and they have Resident Evil. That was another one, the big one. They do have Resident Evil. I believe the first one on there. I don't know why not the second one also, and they have remakes of that out. And like I said, I think there's a Street Fighter on there. So Capcom's clearly cool with putting stuff on there. Why is there no Mega Man? There's no Mega Man 8. There's no Mega Man X, whatever, 4, 5, and 6, I think, are all on the PlayStation. None of those. Not even a single one of those Mega Mans. And no Mega Man Legends? Like, any of these would have been fine to throw a Mega Man on there, but I don't believe any of these are on there. And it's like, those were kind of important, and they would pull a lot of people. I know there's a Mega Man S collection out there, but you can get remakes of stuff. Like I said, in the Mega Man Legacy collection, but Mega Man Legends isn't really on a collection. Why not throw that out there then, at least for that, especially because that's the big one for the system. It's so bizarre. It's just, again, I really wish I knew the full scoop on if this was just like, we tried and we couldn't get all the stuff we wanted, or if it is a case of like, well, we just kind of wanted a few big hitters and the rest, who gives a shit? So, I mean, this would be a pretty good system to have if it was like $30. They want like $100 for it. It's not worth that for the shit you're getting. I mean, eventually, if you really like some of those games, it might be worth it, maybe, but I don't feel like there's enough there, especially considering the other stuff you're comparing it to that you naturally have to compare it to. You know, it's go big or go home, and Sony, I think you should have just gone home on this one, you know? Because that's all you're really going to do with this. I don't know. So what's the deal with the PlayStation Classic? It's like the PlayStation ASIC with the ground. That's right, it's worse than the PlayStation ASIC. And that's not even a real thing. That's how... Look, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. What's the deal with